talking a lot or referring to the Council on Foreign Relations, Committee for Economic Development, Trilateral Commission. Let's talk in greater detail about the policy planning mechanisms, some of these organizations that we've been talking about, because I think this is probably the thing that people know least about. You don't find them in history books, and you don't find them in economics textbooks and all. Tell us about these.
Basically, these organizations were all created at different times in the 20th century in the face of particular problems that were faced by the corporate community. In the case of the Council on Foreign Relations, it was formed shortly after World War I when statespeople came and corporate leaders came back from Versailles. And they said, we have to have a better perspective on foreign relations now that we're clearly going to be the dominant power in the world. And they created this discussion group in order to make themselves more sophisticated about these issues. These organizations are funded by large corporations and by foundations. They then bring together these business people for discussions with academic experts. These academic experts are basically housed at institutes on major campuses, the Harvard, Yale, Princeton, Columbia, Stanford, Johns Hopkins, Berkeley, MIT, Caltech nexus. And these experts are also housed at think tanks, like the Rand Corporation and various institutes for strategic thinking here, there, and everywhere. So what we have at a policy discussion group is the bringing together of a variety of academic opinions with this range of corporate leaders. And they then discuss a particular issue, as I say, a foreign policy issue, a monetary policy issue, a particular domestic issue. And they try to work out ideas that make sense to all of them. Now, from the corporate point of view, by listening, say they got a liberal academic and a more conservative academic in the same room, and they listen to you guys argue. And then they see what makes sense in terms of their view of the world.
And interest, economic and social.
So I might then, so then in that situation, now, beyond then becoming sophisticated about policies, they also, you see, are looking at each other in terms of who can do this more general kind of task, meaning this, and I think we've all seen it in our lives. We have friends that might be very good at their particular job. They might be very good, say, at running a business. But if you ask them to do a more general thing, like be on the city council, they maybe don't do very well because they don't relate well to other groups. We see this with faculty people, people that do a fine job in their department, but maybe you wouldn't want them on a general committee of the faculty because they're impatient with student demands, or they get angry with the administration. So we say, we don't want to put that person on that committee. So what they do is informally learn about each other's leadership capability. But that's one thing that's learned at these organizations. But the other thing that's learned is which academic expert makes sense to me and can I personally relate to. So it's at these organizations that you meet somebody like a Henry Kissinger and you say, he not only makes sense, but I get along with him personally. So you develop then this relationship between the corporate community and the expert community at these organizations. So they are a place where these people get a more general view, where they get sophisticated, where they informally select each other as leaders, where they inject academic opinion into their perspectives, where they look academic experts over to become potential advisors in the government. And then, and very importantly, what these organizations do is they legitimate these people as fair-minded experts.